5 o'clock, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Good to see you get a few people in the room tonight. That's great to see. Do we have somebody online? So if you want to bring that person up, we have a citizen online that wants to address the board tonight. I don't know that is she or he or she listening already or online? Okay. If you want them to be able to listen, I'll go through and read the thing to them as well. So anyone wishing to address the county board on an item not on the agenda may come forward at this time to be recognized by the board chair. Please state your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. A personnel complaint against an individual county employee may not be heard initially at a board meeting. Personnel complaints may be submitted to the board in writing through the county administrator's office. A person addressing the board may not use profanity or vulgar language. We have first one up is going to be online here this evening, and Diane can pull them up now or bring them in. Maybe. You admitted. Oh, there we go.
Okay, hello.
Hello, Pam. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I've spoken to you a couple weeks ago when I learned that there would be cuts in the Library, Historical Society, and Transportation. Tonight, I would like to ask questions about the Truth in Taxation meeting, which was suggested that we come to if we wish to bring any further information, find out more about or address the cuts. And so in getting ready for this, I went to Truth in Taxation at the Minnesota House, and from October 2014, and I had asked them for information. They said to refer to you as the county board. And so I'm wondering that how to address the concerns I have at a Truth in Taxation meeting. It says, one of the things I learned was that at the Truth in Taxation meeting, you could not exceed the proposed levy. And so that seems to be a limit as to what can be happening at the Truth in Taxation meeting. And then there have been some updates since that time. So I want to know how I can use the Truth in Taxation meeting to address my concerns about the cuts. As it was recommended at one of the meetings I was at, that's where it would be addressed. That was our next opportunity to address concerns.
Is that all you have to say?
No, I would. So can that question be answered?
Normally, this is just you addressing the board with whatever your concern is. It isn't a back and forth. This citizen board, you just, if you've got an issue with a road or whatever, you come and state the issue. We take note of it and then we move on to the next person. Okay,
I have some other points that I'd like to make, and so I'm wondering then who I would talk to. So I may have to do some emails to try to figure that out since I can't do that now. And so I did spend some time looking at the budget, and I really did appreciate the transmittal letter that was dated 9/1/25, because that gave me some background. And so thank you for that, for the commissioners that were there for helping with that. And So, and then I'm wondering how I can be involved in knowing, so that was September 1st, 2025, or yeah, 2025, because how then do I um, address proactively? So it looks like I'll have to ask that in an email also. And then I'm wondering, one of when I was reading in the budget report to you, that there is to be some saving for the future, because there just needs to be saving for the future. I mean, anybody with common sense does that kind of thing. And so I would expect that the commissioners would also do that, and that would be a part of the budget. But then I'm wondering if I can expect that I would be able to see some, because we are doing some saving, to see some reinstatement of funding towards the library, the historical society, or the transportation of for those in need who need to use public transportation. And the other part that I have been wondering about is how could I, as a citizen of Beltrami County, begin to address the budget before it's written, because I'm not allowed to talk about it at when it's presented on the agenda for the county board. So I'm kind of at a quandary as how to move ahead as a responsible citizen. Um, so I'm guessing that I will need to do emails to do that, and to perhaps look back at the minutes before September 1st to try to figure those things out. So I see I'm down to 40, 30, 21 seconds, and I appreciate your time to address the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. And there's someone in the audience that would like to come forward at this time?
My name is Randall Berg, B-U-R-G. I'm a resident of District 3. Commissioner Winger is my representative on the board. With me tonight are Kathy Schmidt and Linda and Pat Winkler, friends who, in the interests of saving the board's time, have unofficially designated me as the spokesman. We are here as well to address our concerns about the proposed $146,000 cut to the request for funding from the Kichigami Regional Library system, of which the two libraries here in Beltrami County, the Bemidji Public Library and the Black Duck Public Library, are members. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners, because it is my understanding that an invitation has been extended by the board to the director of the Kichigami Regional Library System and our local librarian here in Bemidji, Sherry Warren, to address the board at a upcoming work session in early November. I think this will be of great assistance to the board in terms of learning, number one, both the extent of the services that are provided to Beltrami County citizens by the Kichigami Regional Library System, and two, and regrettably, the consequences to our two libraries here in Beltrami County should the proposed budget or the preliminarily approved budget, including the $146,000 cut, be made final at the Truth and Taxation meeting. Addressing the concerns that the previous speaker or citizen had, it is my understanding from the earlier meeting that at the Truth and Taxation meeting, the only remaining decision will be what monies, if any, are available to increase existing funding for the library from either extraordinary funds that are available to the county reserves, or in the alternative, monies taken from other department budgets. we certainly want the commission to know that we have no desire to leap immediately to suggestions that the budgets of other county departments should be rated for the benefit of the library without regard to consequence. We believe that there are extraordinary funds available to the county board, which could be used to increase the funding Beltrami County proposes to give to the Kitchigami Regional Library System. And we would look first to those, but we will be requesting that the board revisit the issue after it is fully informed regarding the nature of Kitchigami's request, revisit its decision regarding funding for the library. This is a community institution which reflects both the values of our community and the interests of our community. As I have mentioned at an earlier occasion, I worked for 20 years or more as a prosecutor here in Beltrami County. And I think I can speak with some expertise and experience that good citizens are not punished into existence. Good citizens are educated and brought up to be that way. And the libraries are a critical institution in that process. I want to voice again my sympathy for the position the board is in. You have been tasked with many duties by both the federal and state authorities, and the funds have not come along with that to accomplish those purposes. Most recently, you've been obliged to find the money for an enormous new jail facility. If anybody should be interested in jail facilities, it would be an ex-prosecutor. But I'll tell you, jails are like flushing money down a toilet. They don't do any good. Libraries build good citizens. And I hope you'll keep that in mind as you hear the presentations from the representatives of Kitchigami. Again, thank you for hearing us out. We're here to express our concern, expect to hear from more of us, but we know we've received a fair hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Randall. Looks like we have another person coming up to the microphone.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bedell Duran. I'm the state representative for this area. I want to come and talk to you guys today a little bit about some of the problems that our county has been facing, along with what the state of Minnesota has been facing as well. Since the biennium of the 23-24 biennium, the state has been pushed on more mandates on the counties and the cities, especially on school districts and county jails than ever before. It is the most drastic increase that we've seen in such a long time that has been putting a huge burden on the counties and the cities, the jails, the schools. And I'm here to kind of tell you and express to the citizens that have a real concern that this is not necessarily your guys' fault, the area that we're in. And me being the state representative in this area, I got to take onus for what's going on with the state of Minnesota's. So some of the things I want to talk to you about today is making sure that people understand that the mandates that are being pushed down on this county right now is more detrimental to our county than people know. And I wish people would educate themselves in regards to that. There's only so much money that comes into this county along with the poverty level that we have. And we are a central hub with a lot of resources that need to go into this county. The thing is that people are not taking that into consideration when thinking about what you guys have to do with the budget and what you guys have to manage with the policies in the state or from the state. I know for a fact that you guys would want to give as much money to all the programs in this county so they can be successful. The problem is the state of Minnesota has made that very difficult for you guys. And I hope that people are looking into this, and I hope that people are realizing what's going on around us. Because when you look back from the 23-24 biennium, the drastic increase, the $18 billion surplus that was taken, the $10 billion in taxes raised, and we're looking at a $6 billion deficit in the state of Minnesota right now. And all that is going to be pushed on you, the cities, and everybody else, on the taxpayers, to try to dig out of that hole. And a lot of the times that people don't realize that. And our people in our county are looking at you guys to be able to fix it, but there's only so much that you guys can do. So I'm here to take a little bit of onus on the issues that are going on the stage, and I'm here to say that I'm willing to work with every single person on this board, to include your county administrator, to make sure that we do what we can to make sure that Beltrami County and our surrounding area is benefiting. There's not a lot that we can do unless we work together. I'm only one voice. I'm just one person. I'm one vote. But until we can figure out how to get across the aisle and work together, it's going to be very difficult for us. We're at a 50-50 split in the House, and a Democrat-ran Senate, and a Democrat governor. So I have to figure out ways that we can actually move this state or at least this district in the right direction with what we have. So when we talk about mandates, when we talk about funding, we talk about, a new jail or funding for the library or anything like that, you guys have a tough decision to make, especially raises within the county and everybody else. Okay? The state has squeezed you guys so much that it's very difficult. And I hope that people are starting to educate themselves on where things went awry. And so maybe we can all come together as a community and help you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Duran. Anybody else want to come forward?
My name is Cheryl Schafel. I am a resident of Beltrami County. I live in Joe Gould's district. And I'm here on behalf of the library and for the transportation to speak up for the people who have less than. I mean, I look at the commission here and I see that all of you have benefited from your privilege. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to look at people who don't have that privilege. The people who need the library, the people who need it to do resumes, to do applications for jobs online, the ones who don't have Kindles, who don't have laptops, who don't have phones that they can access the internet on, the ones who need to make appointments so they can go to Social Security. Yes, Beltrami County is one of the poorest county, the poorest county, I believe it is, in Minnesota. And the county commission is not only looking, your job is to not just look after the physical things in the county, like the roads and things like that, but it's also to look after the welfare of the people. And when we're talking about the people who benefit from the library, we're talking about some of the least of these people. They need it. The transportation, they need it. Where else are they going to go to get to their doctor's appointments? There's simple things like that that are absolute necessities to life. And I'm asking you to fund it because no, you can't go above the levy, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other funds and other places where you can get that money and you can fund the library and fund the transportation for the Paul Bunyan transportation system. We're looking at people who just don't have anything. They need help. And if they can get online and they can apply for jobs, they can do whatever, they can eventually contribute to the taxes of the county. You know, if we help people out, they can help us out.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak to the board? Seeing none, we will move on. We look for approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda with this exception. We're going to strike 7K.
Okay. Striking 7K from the consent agenda. Do I hear a second to that motion? Second by Commissioner Carlson. Any further discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of the amended consent agenda.
Well, Mr. Chair, I would move the approval of the consent agenda minus item 7K, that we would remove item 7K.
All right, I hear a motion from Commissioner Carlson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Winger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the amended consent agenda with removal of item 7K, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. That brings us to the regular agenda. Our first item on the regular agenda is the existing jail study options and recommendation. Does someone want to make a motion?
Mr. Chair?
Yep, go ahead.
Being a member of the Design and Operations Committee, where we unanimously recommend to move forward option 3, which is the total destruction of the existing jail and the building of a new Sally Port. I would move that we approve option 3 to demolish the existing jail and build a new Sally Port adjacent to the courthouse.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Carlson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Winger. Further discussion on choosing option 3 for the demolition of the existing jail and the building of a new Sally Port immediately adjacent to the courthouse.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Sumner?
I just want to thank the board and the administrator for opening up an opportunity for public comment. I heard, from a few people that, wanted it demolished. There's a few that were hoping to possibly support option 2. And I think given this opportunity for folks to come forward to express their opinions, I think was helpful in my decision. So want to make that known.
Thank you, Commissioner Sumner. Any other, Commissioner Carlson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank Steve and Kraus Anderson and all the work that they did, and Austin and the work that Klein McCarthy architects have done. And I also want to make a good shout out to Steve Shadrick, our facilities manager. Has done a great job in trying to put together, he's done a lot of work on trying to figure out what this thing is going to cost, and has really been a great asset to the Design and Operations Committee. And Calandra, who's always been there on a Design and Operations Committee, lending her expertise on what the jail needs to be like. And of course, our administrator, Mr. Berry. So thanks to that team. Done a great job. Appreciate it.
And just for those that weren't here earlier, we also did look at ongoing operational costs, not just the physical cost of remodeling or demoing or whatever. We looked at operational costs as well, and that really, I think, made it very obvious that it was not going to be very financially feasible for us to try to retain any of the old building just because of the ongoing operational costs. When we're already so strapped financially, it just wouldn't make any sense. So I'm very pleased that we did the due diligence and looked at all the options and had the opportunity for a couple months of public comment, and ultimately I think that it's pretty obvious what we need to do. Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second, so I'll call for the question. All in favor of approving option 3 for the existing jail study, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. And we move on to the MCIT delegates. And I believe right now Administrator Barry is our delegate and Commissioner Carlson is our alternate. Administrator Barry, please.
You bet. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Minnesota Counties Intergovernmental Trust is our insurance provider as well as risk management agency. We pay premiums to them, and also as a part of our membership, we get to have a delegate and an alternate to serve on the voting, to serve in place of voting for MCIT business. And so each year MCIT has an annual meeting. It's held in coordination with the Association of Minnesota Counties annual meeting. I did attend last year, which is what made me the delegate by your appointment. Because I don't believe anyone else on the board was intending, or at least at that time intending to go to the AMC conference. I do believe 2, if not maybe 3 of you are intending to go this year, and I wasn't, potentially, and I'm not as certain. And so I thought maybe it would be good for us to have the delegate list modified for those who are certain that they are going to be attending. There is an appointment essentially that needs to happen by your vote that allows me to then fill out the paperwork and submit that to MCIT as a official delegate and alternate. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's not anything that really needs to be decided tonight per se, but it's something we would want to, and they have requested we get in fairly soon so that they can organize their paperwork and make sure they've got the right delegates there that are casting votes on behalf of MCIT business.
So, go ahead, Commissioner Carlson.
Mr. Chair, can you remind us the order of all the activities that go on at AMC? At what point does, because I know the MRC, the Minnesota Rural Counties meets, MCIT meets. Tim, you're probably involved with the executive team meeting. And so all of these things happen and maybe, it might be that Tim has to be at an executive meeting, couldn't be at MCIT. I don't know. What day of that conference is the MCIT meeting?
Do they even have that schedule out yet?
I'm looking for the schedule now. Typically, it's very early in the AMC. If I recall, it's pretty early in the meeting conference.
Mr. Chair
Yep.
and Tom, Commissioner Carlson, the AMC board typically meets the Sunday afternoon prior to the official start of the conference. And I believe as affiliates, MRC and MCIT try to organize their meetings around evenings, late afternoon, so it doesn't really conflict with conferences or sessions. So that's how it typically runs each year. So that
It says that it would be at 4 o'clock on Monday night. So are you saying that you think you would definitely be there and you would be willing to be the MCIT?
I'm not saying I'd be willing. I'll definitely be there.
No, I thought you were volunteering yourself.
If it's up to me, I'll make the motion to keep it as it is.
No, so, who, are you planning on going or not?
I was not planning on attending.
I have a conflict. I did not plan on going, but, I don't know if you were planning on going and that, so. Yeah. One of you take the, do we need to have one delegate and one alternate? Is that what we're looking for, Tom?
That's what they're requesting. I mean, if you don't have an alternate right now, then you won't have an alternate, but having at least a delegate would be advisable.
You guys have a coin you want to flip or?
You guys can draw straws, I'm out.
But Mr. Chair, I would nominate Commissioner Wingers, since I know Commissioner Sumner is already heavily involved with the executive committee and lots of other activities that he has to be at just because of what's going on. And it would be probably harder for Commissioner Sumner to do that. So I understand where you're coming from, Tim. I think I would say that if Tom's really doesn't want to go, let's have Commissioner Winger be our.
Do we need a formal motion for this, Tom, or is
It
just?
would be preferred,
Okay,
yes.
so
And
you want to make that a formal
That is-
motion?
That is a motion.
Okay, so we have a second for that motion? Does somebody want to second it?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Carlson, a second from Commissioner Sumner. Discussion.
Just
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
So what exactly is, when do they have the meetings? Like, are they monthly, quarterly? I think that way would be helpful for Commissioner Winger.
Sorry, yeah, this is only for the board meeting. It's the one meeting that they have for the year, that allows you to have a voice and a vote as a county representative on the business that MCIT is planning to conduct for that evening. There's no additional commitment. It's not a board position, for example. There's no other meetings. It's just the one hour meeting, where members of MCIT get to come and listen to the presentations, typically vote on, typically there's a board member that's being nominated or, wants to resit the position again, or if there's a policy or something else, that's really just all there is for about an hour and a half is to sit in that meeting and just make a vote on behalf of the county. And that's really the only obligation.
You're okay with that? Oh, we have, go ahead, Commissioner Carlson.
Do we need to have, state the alternate in that same proposal?
I'd recommend that.
Yeah.
If
So
possible.
do you?
So, Mr. Chair, I would amend my motion to have Commissioner Winger be our representative and Commissioner Sumner be the alternate as long as he's already going to be down there, just in case.
Okay.
That'll save the county some money for having to send Administrator Barry or myself or someone else in addition to.
Well, and I also want to remind my colleagues here that there is another commissioner that will be in attendance that seemed a little bit curious about MCIT earlier this year that may consider being an alternate as well. So I don't know if I can,
We need to know now, though. I mean, if we're gonna make the
I
decision.
don't know if I
tonight,
can
Yeah.
support that amendment.
So is that, you're not supporting that amendment? No, okay, so we want to leave the alternate off the table then for tonight? Because we don't, have anybody else to fill that role.
You could do that and we could bring it back again, or you can just leave it as is.
If
or-
you're gonna be there for sure, we don't really need an alternate either, So, yeah. So, okay, so you want to revert back to your original motion in second?
Mr. Chair, let me restate my motion,
Okay.
just for clarity. I would move that we nominate Commissioner Winger as our delegate to the MCIT at the upcoming annual meeting. And at this time, we won't have
An alternate.
an alternate.
Okay. Do you want to second that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sumner. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of making Commissioner Winger our MCIT delegate for this year's annual meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You are it. Motion by Carlson, second by Sumner. All right. That was it for our regular agenda, so we'll move on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Sumner, do you have any commissioner or legislative lobbying? You can blend them together.
Mr. Chair, I attended the Black Duck Ambulance meeting last week. Received an update of operations, and I think the past few months have been interesting and for the ambulance, especially with some recent flooding in the building. They were working on fixing that. And this past month, one of the ambulance caught on fire spontaneously. Nobody was injured. It was in the Black Duck Ambulance building. Fortunately, there were a couple of EMTs there where they were able to safely removed the ambulance from the garage that didn't affect the building and saved the building essentially. So thankful for that. Also, there is I will be attending the Beltrami County Extension meeting next Monday morning, the 27th. And also want to remind folks that the AMC District 2 meeting is taking place later next week, October 29th, which we usually meet beginning of October, but not too sure why. But it will be here at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Lunch will be served. And also, just want to remind the board and maybe Tom that the deadline for county achievements and awards for AMC is quickly approaching, I believe, this week. If there are any projects or programs, any recognition the county wants to submit for, I think it would be great to at least submit something. So that is my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sumner. Commissioner Winger?
At the BASC meeting that I attended, evening stuff, I did, would like to see them come again and talk. Did talk to them about doing chat about, and I talked to Kev Jackson about that too. He'd like to have them on, so hopefully they're gonna be able to get on there. I did do chat about, since Tim wasn't able to make that, so because our meeting at BASC got done early enough, I went, John was able to get to his meeting, so it all worked out. That the management team meeting and the 15th, one of the things that was discussed was those awards that you were talking about, brought up to the management team. So hopefully some of those will get out. The solid waste meeting this morning. One of the things I'm sure Chair will talk more about it. But one of the things that was discussed was going back to some other hours on Saturdays. Instead of extending all the way to 4:30, they're going to cut back to 1 o'clock. We're not exactly sure if that'll happen on the 1st or the 8th yet, but he's working on that just because the numbers are going down of the number of people bringing stuff in. And then with them, I'll be at the extension meeting on Monday.
Thank you, Commissioner Winger. Commissioner Carlson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was at the Airport Affairs Council meeting. Just for public information, I guess, the Public Affairs Council is just a group of interested area citizens interested in the airport. They do not make up the airport authority, but they can sometimes make suggestions on things that they see that maybe could make the airport better. And one of the things that they've talked about is the community engagement piece. And out of that came the chamber after hours that we had at the airport last Tuesday from 4 to 6. That was really well attended. And so it was a great event. So hats off to Scott Turn and the chamber for all the work that they did on that. And our executive director, Kyle Christensen, did a great job answering a lot of questions. The other thing that came out of that was thankfully, Kev Jackson had a few spots available throughout the year so that the airport can actually get on chat about now on somewhat of a regular basis. So that'll be kind of nice, so that things that are going on at the airport, whether it's Delta saying you can't bring your luggage 45 minutes, before, I mean, you have to be done before 45 minutes for the plane boards, all that kind of stuff. Or whether it's TSA information, whatever. So good information. And of course, Kev Jackson does a great job on chat about for that. Commissioner Winger and I were involved with HR director interviews. And as Administrator Barry said, waiting to hear from one of the candidates. At a Greater Bemidji meeting, things are progressing nicely in the rail corridor. with regards to the YMCA project. I think cleanup has already started out there. And some of the buildings are getting tore down, so there's nice activity going on in the rail corridor. That's thanks in great part to Dave Hengel and Greater Bemidji. I did attend the de-escalation training that was at the EOC. That was interesting, and learned some good information about that. Of course, we had the jail design and operations committee. I mentioned the chamber after hours. I did go to the SBA roundtable for disaster recover loans, just so people are aware that the deadline for that has been extended to the end of the month. So if you need assistance because of the storm, loans are still available through the SBA, and that's both business and residential. And that office is located at the Fire Hall number 2, which is over on Lake Avenue, over in Nymore. Then, of course, we had the Airport Authority meeting, and I'll let Commissioner Gosvick talk about that. And then yesterday I had a meeting about the Dancing Sky, for Dancing Sky triple agency. That's the area agency on aging. And unfortunately, one of the programs that worked really well that was brought to my attention by our Health and Human Services Director, Ann Linseth, it was a RAPS program, and it was a program that allowed, I'm lobbying because we aren't ready till 6, obviously, that helped folks regardless of income level, over 65, if they had special needs for their house, whether it might be a railing on the back steps, or maybe the steps needed to be replaced, or maybe they needed some cleanup done and they just didn't have the wherewithal to be able to do that. There was money available in a fund through the Dancing Sky AAA agency, and Ann said that was a great use in Beltrami County, and she was hoping that that would get continued. So I brought that forward to the meeting, and of course that is not going to happen any longer, unfortunately. So, but we're trying. We'll try to get that back. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Carlson. I had a few meetings, had an HRDC meeting, nothing really, we just had just a few updates on a couple things there. Wasn't anything super to report about there. While we went to, I was at the chamber after hours at the airport as well, and it was pretty fortuitous that a jet happened to land right while we were there, and we were holding the event in the kind of glassed in area towards the FBO, and so everybody got to see the jet wheel in right there, and then a helicopter, the medical helicopter came in and then actually had to take off. We'd planned on having it there, but they actually got to take off, and so that was kind of fun for everybody to see a jet pull in and a helicopter land and take off. I'll be starting with the airport, our union negotiations there. I'm actually going to meet with our executive director at the airport tomorrow to get things kicked off with that, and so I'll be working on that. Black Duck Ambulance, as Commissioner Sumner mentioned, the ambulance fire actually started with a mini fridge, the electrical short in a mini fridge that they have for keeping medications cold. Thankfully it was in the older amp. We actually have a brand new ambulance up there. I'm on the Tri-County Ambulance Board, and Commissioner Sumner's on the Black Duck Ambulance Board itself. That's what started it. Thankfully, as Commissioner Sumner said, it didn't affect the building or anything. But battling, with insurance to try to get, to determine what we get covered, if it's replacement cost or not. But we do have a brand new ambulance, and thankfully that wasn't there and did not get damaged. So we're able to still keep running with that. But that ambulance is, I think, is a total loss because the interior is just melted and charred, and it's, stinks. Had our Fair Board annual meeting last night, and there were some contested election. We went through and ended up the 7 board members that were up for election did get reelected. The 2 that were didn't quite, it was fairly close on the lower end vote getters, but it still ended up being in the original 7. At our solid waste committee meeting this morning, as Commissioner Winger mentioned, we normally do change the hours, just so people know. In December, we typically change the hours, reduce the hours because there's just less traffic typically in the wintertime out at the demo landfill. And we've had extended hours due to the storm damage and all the debris, and that's starting to wane. So we will be going to 9 to 1 instead of 8 to 4:30 on Saturday. We'll go from 9 to 1 instead. Probably starting November 1st, possibly not till November 8th. So that is it for my reports for the board. If anybody else have anything that they like to share, otherwise I'll look for a motion to adjourn at a regular meeting, and then we will reconvene at 6 for the opioid steering committee meeting. Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Carlson. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Winger. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.